Hi, hi, how are you? Okay, I am just. Oh, what the frick is happening now? Oh, it's gone into a room. Why has it done that? Why has it gone into the room? I have no idea. I fucking hate fucking Facebook. Hi. I really do though. And it's I don't know. I think it's an issue. I'm gonna just um tag a few people um, because I think that maybe these people would appreciate watching the what's it? Oh, Ramandeep, you're here. I've literally just tagged you. I'm so pleased to see you, darling. I didn't think you were going to be here. My meeting hasn't started yet, so I will stick around until I can. Awesome. I'm so pleased to see you. I really am. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get happy being on Facebook, and like I say, it's gonna be a bit of an issue, I think. And it's I don't know. There's big chatter in my head because like I am all about being in your highest, being in your greatest good, being in a state of happiness and joy and fulfillment. And I literally hate everything that Facebook stands for. So the question in my mind is, being on Facebook, is that really in my highest and my greatest? Yeah? Or am I like completely out of integrity using a platform that I actively detest? Actively detest it. So then the question that comes up is, well, if I'm not on Facebook, where are my people? How am I going to connect to you, Ramandeep? How am I going to connect with Christine and Sangeeta and all the other people? Yes. But then I have to remind myself that that's just a story that I'm telling myself. It's just a story that my people will only find me on Facebook. It's a story that Facebook has itself perpetuated. Your people are on Facebook. You need to be on Facebook to connect with people, to connect with the people that need your message, that want your message, that. But maybe that's not the truth. Yeah, maybe that's not the truth at all. Maybe if I just stuck to fucking LinkedIn or YouTube, my people would find me just as easily, just as easily, and I would feel less, oh my god, I hate this platform. Which in turn would mean that I would show up in a better place, no? Yes? I don't know. So one of the things that I really wanted this session to be about is obviously visioning what you want from your life and how to embody that vision. I agree. Yeah, so would you come and find me on YouTube if I moved all of this everything over to YouTube? Would you come find me, Ramandeep? Right, so yes, envisioning and embodying that vision and not listening to the noise and the nonsense in your head that tells you that you are not worthy of the life that you want. Yes, I will follow you around. Wow, you're beautiful. You're a beautiful, beautiful soul. Thank you, darling. So I want you to think, right, Ramandeep, close your eyes. I'm not going to do the thing that I was originally going to do, but I might do that later in the new year or something. Yeah. But for now, I want you to just close your eyes and think about all the feelings that you want to experience from life. What is it that the feeling of the thing? We get so caught up with the material aspect of life that we often forget the feeling. And the reason that the material things don't show up in our existence is because the material things aren't actually attached perfectly to the feelings that we are wanting to experience. Yes, so we might think that we want all of the money, but is the money, the need for money, the want for money, actually fulfilling an expectation that has been placed upon you by your family, by society, by teachers, by, do you know what I mean? Like by these external forces. And if you didn't have to think about the money at all, how would you actually want to be spending your time rather than doing things? So I'm feeling quite sweary today. I don't know what's up. I'm feeling. So I apologize for the slight sweariness in my presentation today. It's like, I don't know. It's been a funny time. Um, yeah, what's the feeling? What's the actual feeling that you want to experience? Because I guarantee having experienced this, when you vision things that are not actually in your greatest good, when you vision things that are living up to the expectation of somebody else, and you actually get those things, so you get the job, you get the career, you get the husband, you get the 2.4 children and a dog, and you get the money in the bank account. If it doesn't fulfill the actual internal desire, then you're not going to be satisfied with those things. Yes. So I remember this time when in my cake business, in my luxury cake career, I had a publicist who she used to, it was quite weird actually. She used to try to get me into the magazines and all of that, but as it was actually me that got me into all of those places. And she turned around because there was this 1 week or 1 month or something where I was literally in all of the quality magazines that week. Like I was on wedding TV, I was in all of the quality wedding magazines in the UK. And I did not feel satisfied. I didn't feel as though that was an awesome thing. It didn't fulfill me in the way that I thought that it was going to fulfill me. And she was like, well, this is amazing. You're incredible. Why aren't you more happy about this? And so I had to kind of think about that. And part of it was, well, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't have a really, really deep core meaning to me. And part of that is because I even at that stage, and this is way before I sort of woke up and got into all of the spirituality and the universe and manifesting and all of that jazz. But I knew even then that it didn't make a difference to me. My feelings about me hadn't changed. Like the fact that I was in all of the magazines, the fact that I was charging thousands for cakes, it didn't make me feel any better about myself. Yeah. So that external evidence didn't fulfill the gap within me that I was desperate to fill. It didn't solve my feelings of inadequacy. It didn't solve my feelings of, but how am I gonna sustain this? Because at the time I was experiencing like massive imposter syndrome and high stress and stuff, and it didn't solve that. The money, the publicity, The fact that people used to gasp when I went into a room sometimes because they'd literally just seen me on TV and that, it didn't satisfy my need, because the need that I had was my own recognition, my own feelings of this is what I need and this is what I want to experience. Yeah, the external validation didn't give me the internal validation that I absolutely needed at the time. And so that internal validation is what we need to connect to. When we're visioning our future, we need to connect to how do I want to feel internally. And then when you realize that that internal need cannot be satisfied by the external world, your view of how to get that external validation changes. You suddenly realize that actually the external doesn't mean jack. The external really doesn't. It doesn't satisfy the needs that you are holding in your soul. And you can only satisfy the needs in your soul when you actually give yourself time and space to hear what those needs are. And then when you do that, when you give yourself the time and space to hear what your soul desires are, then you have to give yourself the time and space to hear the next steps of how to get there. And that all comes internally. That's an internal message. Yeah. So like when I came into this coaching environment, I did so many things from an external viewpoint because, you know, I burned out. I burned out of my cake career through suddenly going from a pulling energy, which is how I got to the top of my career, to a pushing energy, because once I got to the top of my career, I freaked out and I was, you know, I went into a state of panic of how am I going to sustain this? And even in the 5 years that I spent vomiting every single day, multiple times a day, even though I had got in contact with my inner self, even though I knew that I was here to help people, to experience the joy and the level of success that I had reached within my cake business, but without all of the vomiting, without the, you know, sort of the life-threatening digestive disorder, without burning out, I still hadn't truly got it into my head that actually I needed to do things from the inside out. It took me a while to get that. So when I came into the coaching space, I was still very, very open to suggestion. Yeah. And I got steered incorrectly like so many times. I have spent an unfathomable amount of money learning other people's strategies, learning other people's viewpoints, listening to other people about how I should do things, that it's taken me ages. It's taken me a really long time to now get to the space where I know that all of my fulfillment comes from me. All of my happiness comes from within me. And when I am feeling joyous and happy, then the external world matches that feeling. Yeah. So, remedy, I want to feel joy, excitement, and fulfillment. But when I close my eyes, try to feel those, I get so much heaviness and resistance. So, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that when you focus on the joy and the excitement and the fulfillment, you experience heaviness? Yeah, I find that fascinating because it means, if you know, in my opinion, it means that you are feeling sadness that you're not experiencing those things now. Yes. So is there a case of that when you think about joy, when you think about excitement, when you think about fulfillment, is there a sense of, well, I haven't got that yet. I should be further along in that pursuit. So you end up like beating yourself up for not experiencing right now the thing that you want to experience, for not being right here, right now, in the state that you are striving towards. Yeah. And so that heaviness, that resistance, that's a part of you that is trying to keep you safely within the expectations that your body and your mind has become accustomed to. And if you've been, not filled with excitement, not filled with fulfillment, not filled with joy for any length of time, then you have to retrain your nervous system to understand that actually it's perfectly safe for you to feel those things. Does that make sense? And it's that level of safety. It's if we are not used to feeling certain emotions, it doesn't feel safe to feel them. It doesn't feel safe because it is quite unknown. Yeah. So the way to get around that, over that, through that, is by teaching yourself what it feels like to feel the joy, what it feels like to feel the excitement and the fulfillment without having an external source of those things. Yeah. Does that make sense, Ramandeep? Yeah, that's true. It was sadness. It's been ages ever since feeling those feelings. Yes, I prefer being safe, being in known, right? So the easiest way that I personally have found to feel joy and excitement and fulfillment within myself is to listen to and hear the part of me that feels sad at not having that. So if you close your eyes and take a breath, and instead of shutting down the sadness, instead of trying to quiet it in any way, shape, or form, you allow that sadness to speak. Because this is a tiny, this is like a young version of you that is looking after you, that is trying to protect you. Yes. And what happens is we've been trained to think that being sad is negative and wrong, and bloody hell, how ungrateful are you? Look at the life that you've got, and you're still not satisfied. That's the training that we get. And so what we do is we squash down those feelings of dissatisfaction. We squash down the feelings of sadness because we get this tremendous guilt around feeling sad. Like, yeah, like so many people have it so much worse than me. What right do I have to be sad about my life? And so that little version of you, like the 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old version of you that wants to feel sad, that needs to feel sad because that's the real way that they are feeling. They get squashed. They get squashed and they get shut away, and those feelings intensify. So I invite you to just live in the acceptance that, yeah, right now, when you think of being happy, the overarching emotion is actually sadness. And when you can be okay with the sadness, when you can perfectly accept, yeah, I feel really sad right now. Yeah, and you see this version of you. The version of you that is sad. The version of you that and they might be different versions of you, yeah? So the sad version of you could be here, and then you have like a guilty version of you that is sat right next to it. Sat right next to her. There's a guilty version of you. And they go hand in hand, but they're often not the same version. Yeah? They could even be different ages. So allow yourself to feel them. Allow yourself to hear them. Because as soon as you hear them and you see them and you acknowledge that version of you, those emotions within you, they will quieten down. They will quieten down because they are no longer fighting for your attention. If you can get to a situation where you are just fully experiencing all the emotions, because all of the emotions are in existence all at the same time, yes? Which is why when you think of joy, you also feel sad, yeah? Because every single emotion on the spectrum is available to you all the time. All the time. It is possible for you to feel both sadness and happiness at the same time. It is possible for you to feel guilty and accomplished at the same time. And what you get to do is to acknowledge the sadness, acknowledge the guilt, acknowledge the whatever, whilst also saying, I really, I see you, sadness, but I'm choosing for the happiness to get bigger. I'm choosing to lean further into this emotion than that emotion. I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge you. I'm not suppressing you. And I release you with love as I lean into the emotions that I would rather feel. Does that make sense? So let's look at this resistance. So you have resistance around feeling the joy and the excitement and the fulfillment. So what is that resistance? Is that the guilt that I was talking about? Yes, it does. Awesome. And that guilt around feeling good, that guilt around feeling fulfilled is, again, it often comes from your upbringing, where, I don't know, I remember somebody turning around and saying to me, I was so young, I was so young at the time, and I was on like a church trip with my grandparents. I am not at all religious. If you know anything about me, you will know that it is my belief that we are the gods. We are God, you are God, I am God, you are God. We are all God, yeah? God is created in our image rather than the other way around. And this is my personal belief. You don't have to buy into my belief. You don't have to believe the same thing as me. But I invite you to just play with that notion. Play with the notion that you are the creator of your life. Yeah? And I remember this one time, like I was saying, I was on this church trip with my grandparents, who were both very, very religious. My uncle was a priest or minister or something within the church. He was a priest in the Roman Catholic Church, and before that he was the equivalent within the Church of England. But then the Church of England said that they were going to ordain women, and he didn't like that, so he moved religions. But I was on this church trip, and I remember just feeling really happy feeling really just content and happy in the moment. We were in this big field and everybody was just, it just felt really, really nice. Really, really nice. And then like the vicar or the priest or whatever turned around to me and said, like, really in a not in a not nice way, what are you smiling at? And I remember thinking, well, I'm smiling because it's all just so good. Life is awesome. And he seemed really annoyed that I was just like, going about my life just peacefully, just contentedly. There wasn't anything for me to be absolutely beaming about. There was nothing going on. We were walking through this field. There's nothing specific going on. And I just got the feeling that he didn't understand that. Which to me, maybe this is why I don't believe in God, right? Which to me was totally counterintuitive, because surely my young brain was thinking, surely as a man of the cloth, you're supposed to be in wonderment all the time at God's creation, But anyway, right. Maybe the fear too. What if they don't last long? Guilt is a big thing too. Being religious, my parents taught, be happy with what you have. Look at people that are lower than you and be grateful. So complaining or wanting more always feels a big guilt. Yeah, you see? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But this okay, let me just go in, right? So the fear to, what if they don't last long? What if the happiness doesn't last? What if the joy doesn't last? What if the fulfillment doesn't last? Yeah. So that's coming from a place of lack, of not knowing that you create that within you. That is a scarcity mindset from looking externally inwards, believing that the happiness and fulfillment comes from an external source. Because if you knew to your knowing is knowing that you were the creator, that you got to decide how you felt, that you weren't a victim of circumstances, that there is nothing in the external that could affect your level of joy and fulfillment and happiness. What was the other thing? Joy, and excitement. Yeah. If you knew that you were in control, complete control of those things, and it wasn't reliant on any circumstance, on any external circumstance, on any external sense of validation of your worth, of your deserving for those things, then you wouldn't worry that they were going to go away. Yeah? There would be no question. Well, of course, I am constantly connected with those feelings of joy and happiness and fulfillment, excitement. I'm constantly connected to them because they emanate from me. And if you know that and know it rather than trust it, yeah, know it, you absolutely know it, then you wouldn't be worried about external circumstances changing that would then take those feelings away. Yeah. Towards being happy. So, there's an element of your parents' teaching, be happy with what you have, that is awesome. Yeah. That is very much living in the present. Look at everything that you have. Be grateful with everything that you have. One thing I did this morning is I wrote out everything I loved about my life right now. Everything I loved about it. So it's like it's a slight variation. It's a slight variation on the gratitude diary type thing. Yeah. So instead of being grateful for everything, I invite you, and instead of just appreciating everything as well, I mean, appreciation is a step further than gratitude in my world. Yes, because you can be grateful for something without truly appreciating it, and for me the power comes in the appreciation of it. But then what I've just discovered is that the next step for that is truly loving your life, loving things. So it's not just appreciating them, it's loving them. It is opening your heart to them and saying, oh my God, I absolutely love my life. Look at my life. And so I had this list that I wrote out this morning, and it took me like 20 minutes, half an hour. I was just there reeling off, writing down all the things I love about my life. Absolutely love it. And that feeling of love, that's the most, in my conscious thinking right now, it might change. This is the thing, right? But right now, I believe that this emotion of love is the most powerful energy in the universe. Yeah. So like I say, it's not just being grateful for things. It's not being grateful for things. It's not just appreciating things. It's absolutely looking at your life and identifying what you can completely head over heels fall in love with about your life. I absolutely love the fact that I have hot water coming out of my shower. This apartment building that I live in, we've had all the plumbing. It's all been changed over, all the pipes and everything, and it's been going on for months and months and months. And so every now and again, over the months, water has been turned off. Water has been running cold when it should be hot. Just while they're changing everything around, we've got new tanks, apparently new pumps, and the full works. And it's 35 floors or something, this building. So sometimes I shower at 3 a.m. because, I'm doing this support coaching job at the moment. And that starts at 4 a.m. because they're based in the East Coast, and the call is at 7 a.m. So I'm showering at 3 a.m. and often, well, not often, but many times at 3 a.m. the water has not been hot. So when I can get into a shower and it is, just glorious, and it's still 3 a.m. and, they've finally fixed it and it all sorts out, and I can just stand there and just go, oh my God, I love having a hot shower. I love having a hot shower regardless of what time of night it is or day it is. I love that. How amazing is it that I've got this hot shower? And you can just fall in love with that. I love the fact that my children, even though they're going through all so much difficulty right now with health concerns and mental health concerns, I love the fact that we are in this city and the help that is available to them is incredible. It's incredible. I love that. And when you can really fall in love with every aspect of your life, it's so much easier to live in the present, to be happy and satisfied with what you have, because you love it. You love it all. And then when you realize that, there's a saying that, I've said many times, that as good as it is, it gets to get better. And that is absolutely true, because when you fall in love with your life, you naturally attract things to support that love. So it gets to get better. The wanting more, The wanting more and feeling guilty about that, again, that is a teaching of scarcity. That's a teaching that says, but you've got enough. You've got enough, leave some for other people. Yeah? Why do you want more when you already have just enough? That's a scarcity mindset. And, and we have to remember that our parents were, mostly born in a war. Like my mother was born in the Second World War. And that was a time of great scarcity. There were literally rations on what they could eat and all of that. But that isn't the case anymore, thankfully. And now the world is changing. The world is changing so rapidly. Like the energy of the world is changing so rapidly that there is no reason for us to live in scarcity. There is so much money in the world. There is so much food in the world that there is literally no reason for anybody to be starving. And before you say it, yes, I know that there are countries in the world where people are literally starving. And that's an economic choice by governments, by people, men of the world have created those situations. Yes, that is not a natural state for anybody to live in. So wanting more doesn't detract from other people having more. Not at all. It does not detract. You can have as much as you like, and you will not be taking a single thing away from anybody else. And I know that, I'm one of 5 children. And yeah, if you took a bigger slice of the pie, then that did mean that other people would have less. But we're not living in that world right now. We're not talking about pie. We're not talking about cake. Yeah? We're talking about soul desires. And soul desires are not based in material things. They are based internally. So if you want more happiness, that doesn't make any other person less happy. You speaking your truth, you being all that you can be, might take other people out of your sphere of energy, because your energy might become too big for them to handle, too powerful for them to handle. But that's really on them. And you get to decide, well, is me being all of me am I going to allow myself, if I am all of me, am I going to allow myself to be diminished because you are not being all of you? Am I going to allow myself to live a smaller, less fulfilled life for fear that I will outshine you in your eyes? If you know that it is impossible for you to outshine anybody who is at your level, absolutely impossible for you to do that. It is impossible for you to intimidate anybody who has their own strong sense of self-worth, of self-value. You are not intimidating to anybody who has their own measure of success that they are living up to. And the measure of success isn't based, again, on this external validation. Yeah, the level of success isn't based on anybody else's view of what success is. We are taught what success is. To be successful, you need the money in the bank, you need the house, you need the dog, you need the children, you need the career, you need blah, 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 blah. But that's somebody else's version of success. You get to choose your own version of success. And I'm telling you that when you really dig in and you think, okay, what will it take for me to feel successful? It is feeling happy, it is feeling joyful, it is feeling excited and fulfilled. Those should be the measure of success. And I say should very much in inverted commas. You get to choose. There is no should, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is nothing, there is no good or bad. It's only what matters to you. And that sense of good, bad, right, wrong, successful, failure thing we only ever feel those things when we listen more externally than internally. Yeah. We only ever doubt whether our happiness is real when we look externally and somebody says, well, I don't think you should be happy in that circumstance, or I don't think you could be happy in that circumstance, or yeah, how can you call yourself successful when blah 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 blah. But if you're feeling internally fulfilled and satisfied and happy, and that is your measure of success, then all the blah 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 is going to happen anyway. It just will. It just will. I mean, you know, my biggest cash months this year have been when I've been absolutely blissed out of my brain. Well, I've just gone, oh my God, I love my life so much. I love it. I love it. And then you just keep following the joy. Yeah. Yeah, so that, oh my God, that's how I felt. I'm the eldest of us three, and taking more meant less for them, and I would feel guilty. But that's not the case now. That used to be the case on that very, very, very specific situation. Yes? It was a very, very specific situation. If you got more love from your parents, did that mean that you'd stolen all the love from your siblings, or was there enough love to go around? If your mother was kind to you, did that mean that she didn't have any kindness left for your siblings? Yeah, we're not talking about pie. So how do we embody the future that we want? The way that we embody it is by, like I say, accepting that accepting that we have all the emotions within us at all times. Accepting that sometimes certain emotions will be louder than other emotions, and learning to look at them, see them, hear them, appreciate them, and choose a different emotion. Yeah? Choose to feel a different emotion. You see them, you hear them. You hear the sadness, you hear the guilt. You validate the guilt. You go, yeah, you know what? When you were little, it did feel really guilty to have more fucking pie. You felt guilty if you snuck that extra slice. Yeah? But we're not there anymore, so it's okay. It's okay. This circumstance is different. This situation is different. I don't have to perpetuate the patterns of behavior that led to me feeling guilty. Yeah? So it's kind of your job to close your eyes, imagine the future that you really want. Imagine the emotions within the future that you want. And if the sadness, if the guilt comes up, you listen, you release it. You replace the parts of your body that have been holding on to that emotion. You replace it with love and compassion and kindness and excitement and joy. And you teach yourselves what that feels like. You teach yourselves what it feels like to experience those emotions without the guilt, without the sadness, without the resistance. And you can do that most easily through meditation, you know. You can do that through journaling, to really, really just get into, oh my God, I love this and I love that and I love the other, like I did this morning. You can do it through future casting, where you take yourself into the future and you write about today, for instance, from a year from now. Yeah. So in a year's time, you are experiencing all the things that you wanted to experience. Yeah. And you look back at today and you say, oh wow, this is where I taught myself to feel this way. Oh my God, it's absolutely amazing. And you can also do it the other way around, where you are in today, but you imagine yourself in the future and you're talking about that particular day as well. Yeah. So, 19th of December 2025. Yeah, it has been an amazing day today. I have done this and I have done that, and I experienced this and I experienced that. And just really, really get into the story of this amazing life that you're experiencing, and allow yourself to really, really lose any, what's the word I'm looking for? Allow your mind to fully open up to that experience. Yeah. Lose any judgment around the story that you're telling yourself. Just take yourself there, like in, spiritually, soulfully, emotionally, like be able to feel the sensations on your skin as you're writing this story of this future version of you. Because when you can teach your cells the way that you want to feel, when you get there, it won't be scary. When you get there, it will feel safe. And the thing that happens a lot is that what happens, we sort of set these goals and then we get to them and they feel really unfamiliar, and your brain hates unfamiliarity. And so it'll freak out and try and get you back to where you were before. Yeah, this is how, self-sabotage or self-protection, which is what it really is, really kicks in, because it's trying to keep you safe. Your clever little brain is always trying to keep you safe. So if you can acclimatize yourself, acclimatize both your mind and your body into experiencing this amazing life that you are visioning, when you experience it, it will be familiar. You will step into it and you'll go, well, of course I feel like this. And it's completely normal and it's completely natural. Yeah. And you can take yourself to this future version of you that feels all the things that you are wanting to feel, like happiness, fulfillment, and joy and excitement. You can take yourself there every single day. Every single day. And I advise you to, like every morning. Every morning you can do a little journaling exercise. Every morning you can do a meditation where you just allow yourself to feel happiness. Like if you put your hands on your heart right now and I say, okay, how does it feel to be loved? How does it feel? How does being loved feel? Just give yourself a couple of minutes here. How does it feel for you to love somebody else? And then if you redirect that back into you, yeah, when you really, really love someone, imagine like the first time that you saw your child, or your baby is just born and you've just got that outpouring of love that you've never experienced such a deep emotion before. And then direct that to yourself. How does that feel in your body? For me, I literally feel my heart opening up. I literally feel tension releasing from my shoulders and my neck. My heart feels expansive. So if you can get yourself into that feeling, into that emotion, and just be there for as long as possible every single day, you are teaching your cells, the cells in your body, you are teaching your nervous system, this feels really good. I enjoy this feeling. Let's feel like this some more, yeah? And then you can do like affirmations. saying, it's so affirmations rather than affirmations. So instead of I am love, which your brain will, if it doesn't feel real to you, your brain will pick up a resistance to that. Instead, if you use affirmation, and say, why do I feel so much love? Why do I feel so much love? Why am I so loved? First, I felt loving someone is painful as they leave you. Being loved felt unreal, but when you said your child, it felt so real as I love her unconditionally. Right. Yeah. So now I want you to take that feeling of unconditional love that you have for your child, and I want you to direct it at yourself. Because if you love yourself unconditionally, there is nobody on the planet that is able to take that away from you. Nobody. Yeah. External love can go away. Absolutely. External love can diminish over time. External love can be here 1 minute and gone the next. Internal love never dies. Never dies. When you can get to the state where you love yourself as unconditionally as you love your child, how can that be taken away from you? Yeah? It can't be. It cannot be taken away from you, because the power is within you. You have the power to love yourself so much, to love yourself unconditionally as you love your child. And unconditionally means it doesn't matter what the condition is. It doesn't matter the circumstance. Doesn't matter the situation. Doesn't matter what's happened before or what might happen in the future. You still love yourself. That is unconditional love. Doesn't matter what's been said or done. You hold yourself with grace and love and kindness and compassion. And nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. And the more you can hold yourself in that space of absolute unconditional love, your perception of the external will change. Your perception of the external will change because you are looking through a lens of love. You will be emanating a frequency of unconditional love. And that frequency is incredibly attractive. And then along with unconditional love for yourself, you will see more clearly where other people are not giving you the love that you know that you deserve, that you know that you are worthy of, and that you know that you want. And when you see that other people are not treating you as well as you are treating yourself, when other people are not loving you as well as you are loving yourself, you will easily be able to let them go in favor of somebody that will, of somebody that does love you as much as you love you. Does that make sense? So just hold yourself in this space of love. You can do mirror work. Mirror work is amazing. So look at yourself deep in the eyes and say, wow, I really love you. I really love you. Because again, your brain loves familiarity. If you can teach yourself what it feels like for somebody to say with absolute honesty, absolute integrity and truth. I love you. I love you. I love you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you are teaching yourself. You are teaching yourself that this is what it feels like to be loved. This is what it feels like to be loved. And when somebody gives you that same kind of love, yes, you'll recognize it. So often we get scared of people loving us. For the reason that you said before, we get scared of people loving us because we fear them leaving. But if we are only available for absolute love, and we understand that, love comes and goes from the external, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine that somebody can be in your life and experience the wonderment of your life, and then it's absolutely fine that you can grow apart again, and you can go off in your separate directions and experience even more love, even more joy, and even more excitement. Yeah? You lose that, oh my God, I've got to be a certain thing for this person to love me, otherwise they're going to leave. Because again, that's a scarcity thing. That's putting your joy and happiness and love in the external world. Yeah? And I love that your dog just came running to you and sat in your lap. So I've worked with clients and we have gone through exercises where we have, filled them up with love. And their child has literally come running in from another room for a cuddle, and they haven't done that in years. Yeah? The reason that your dog came running to you is because you were filling yourself up with love. Love attracts love. If you are filled with love, you will attract people, dogs, whatever, who want to experience that love, who want to be in your energetic field of love. So I love that. I absolutely love that your dog came running up to you when you were filling yourself with love. Do you have any questions, Ramandeep? Any questions at all? I have loved having you here. I really have, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you were able to attend. So happy. These things are always, always better when there is somebody else here with me. Yeah, I am good. I am glad for this experience. Awesome. Yeah, so like your homework is to practice that journaling exercise. Yay! Thank you. Plane got delayed. I love it. You see? Everywhere, everyone is exactly where they're supposed to be at any given moment in time. I love it. I love it. Love it. Yes, your homework then is to practice that journaling exercise. Take yourself into a future date. Imagine yourself living this amazing life. Focus in on the emotions and on the feelings, how you are feeling, and describe every part of that experience in this future date. Yes. Describe how your clothes are feeling on your skin. Describe the environment that you're in. Describe the emotions. Pay particular attention to the emotions and the feeling. Then notice how you are feeling in your body. How you're feeling in your body. Teach your cells how to feel amazing. Teach your cells, the cells of your body, how to feel loved. Yeah? How to feel loved, how to feel in complete love with your life. So there's no fear about anybody leaving, there's no fear around anything that you want disappearing. So there's no fear around money, there's no fear around people, there's no fear around anything. You're just living in this blissful bubble of time and space. And just be there as much as you can. Take yourself there, write all about it, and then, you know, if you choose to, you can read that every day and re-feel those emotions, re-feel how it feels to be there, to experience that, normalize feeling that way. Yeah. Like I say, focus on the internal emotions and feelings rather than the external stuff. The external stuff will take care of itself. So focus on you. Focus on you, how you want to feel, the love that you can generate for yourself. And experience, you know, animals and people and opportunities coming running to be in that energetic field. Awesome. Right. Well, biggest hugs and loves. And again, thank you for coming. I have enjoyed this a lot. And I'm glad that you got to experience it. So, unless there's anything else, I'm gonna go. Thanks so much, Shannon. You're so welcome. Take care now. Mwah! And I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.